Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the next section of these videos. I've got only a couple more left that we're going to be doing, and then we're going to do a lot more of the exploratory stuff, and then we're going to get into technical info. I'm very, very excited about all of it. I talk a lot about drainage. Say like 80-85% of all the issues that you see that result in like home foundation settlement have to deal with water, right? So if you control the drainage surrounding your property, most of the time you can mitigate a lot of the settlement issues that you have. One of my favorite things is to go to a client's house, evaluate a problem. They've got, they own the home, they're not in a rush to sell it or something like that. So let them know they should fix their drainage, wait 6 to 8 weeks, and that could actually solve the problem that they have before they pump like tens of thousands of dollars into fixing their home. Just had a client out in Thousand Oaks area that happened to. She wanted to re-level the home so that her doors and the level were good, but outside of that, we were able to reduce her scope from like $50,000 down to about $18,000 because we didn't have to deal with the entire other side that was pretty much unaffected. She just popped some drains on and did her thing, and it worked out great. So drainage is very important. When I talk drainage, remember I talk heaven to earth, right? I talk heaven to earth. You trace the water, hits the roof. Is it a flat roof or is it an A-frame? Where does the water go? Does it go into a gutter? Does it have a discharge point? Does that discharge point pond water right near the footing? Does it have a weep screed? Does it have, stucco? And then how does water channel off here? Does it have a drain underneath, and so on and so forth? So there's a lot. I trace water heaven to earth. It's like, it's a sickness at this point. It's what I do every single time I go anywhere, right? So this video is just to help kind of broaden that spectrum to help increase your knowledge about drainage recommendations that we have. There's a form that we usually submit to everyone, literally everyone, that talks about drainage recommendations, and it's just good maintenance practices to avoid damages in the future, right? This is especially important on hillsides where you've got a slope where you have erosion issues and slope creep issues and other things like that. So these are just very important things to pay attention to. It's not exactly in your home buyer's guide for your first purchased home or whatever, home maintenance even. It's like that crawl space thing, right? It's very normal to have to service your crawl space once a year to stop that creaking of the floor and the bowing and the whatever, but nobody really knows that. It's the same thing with your drainage recommendations. It's just one of those things that isn't very commonly practiced. Therefore, it isn't very commonly known. So, without any further ado, I'm going to just kind of go through this list of stuff that we have in order to discuss this, right? So you've got your house. And I'm going to do a slope. And I am going to build a footing. And I'm terribly, terribly, terribly sorry for the drawing. So, first of all, rain gutters. If you got a flat roof, does the roof have the proper pitch in order to channel all of the water out of let's do this. Out of an opening, right? The roof should be at least slightly sloped or pitched in order to channel all the water out through an opening, even if it's considered a flat roof. So does it have that? Where does this discharge point let the water out, right? Same thing with your rain gutter here. The rain gutter should channel all of this water to a downspout, which then pushes the water out. What happens when the water comes out down here, right? Does it pond there near the footing? Do you see that green mossy color or the white efflorescence? Those are all very bad signs, right? But the roof should be provided with rain gutters. They should be in good condition. They should channel the water to those downspouts. If they're bent or tilted or leaning and water pours out of it, they need maintenance, right? Also, about twice a year, you should be cleaning your rain gutters out to free it from debris or dirt or anything that might discharge or block the discharge and cause an overflow and cause water to pond anywhere it's not supposed to go, right? So about twice a year, you should be actually cleaning this out in order to have good maintenance practices right there. The drains at the slopes, especially, guys, I'm just going to pretend there's like a severe slope here, okay? Drains at the slopes top, bottom, whatever, definitely need to be cleaned out also twice per year. Any terrace drains up here, brow ditches, anything that carries water in those sections really needs to also be cleaned. You got to remember that overwatering a slope loosens soil, and then letting water stand in a slope will loosen the soil, right? So this is where it becomes important on a slope section versus like a flat lot, right? If water loosens the soil over here, nobody really cares, right? But if water hits your backyard and you don't have an area drain, I think the building code is every 10 foot on center, you don't have an area drain to channel all the water in the backyard off, the water will seep down onto the slope and start loosening the soil, right? So if you've got that, look at the hillside video, you've got that slip zone here, and then you're loosening all the soil on top of it, what do you think is gonna happen, right? The house is gonna start to settle, everything's gonna start sliding, and it's really bad. There's a couple drains down here, by the way, down by the footing. So those are all very important things as far as erosion and everything. And remember, it's very difficult. Once erosion starts, it's very difficult to stop, right? So you want to maintain good moisture levels on the slope, around the slope, and in the areas in the backyard pretty much at all times. You can't overly irrigate it, and you shouldn't allow water to collect near the foundation, near the footings, any retaining walls that you have, right? Any retaining walls that retain everything up here, you shouldn't allow any water collecting here. Your retaining walls should all have drains down at the bottom of them to allow water to push out so you don't start building up any of that lateral pressure on that side of it. An irrigation system should not be left running on or near a slope, particularly during the raining season. Swales that have been graded around the home shouldn't be blocked. A swale is just like, like that, or like that, concrete on the side of the house, right? So water can drain down, and then you hit like this swale, and then the swale will carry the water off the lot. That's what a swale is. They're very popular, especially on hillsides, in order to carry water, but you need to make sure that those stay clear. It's one of the things that I see most often is erosion around a swale. Once again, very difficult to stop once it starts. And then blockage. Everybody gets leaves inside these concrete or dirt channels that they have in order to carry the water off, so it stops working effectively, right? Finally, the slope surface should be periodically cleaned. This is why when your mom told you when you were 5 or 6 years old that you had to clean the backyard, it became very important. And it still is. You need to make sure you pick up all the debris, all the leaves, all the other stuff like that. Try to make sure loose soil isn't being discharged into the storm drains. That's just like a personal thing, contamination of water and so on and so forth. I'm not a fan, but more importantly, you're not allowing water to soak down into the soil surrounding your property. Never, ever allow water to ponds near your footings. Your weep screed should look right here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. So if I'm looking at the side of a house and it's a stucco home, most often above grade, like 2 inches up, you see this little hole right here, and then it goes up, and this is all stucco, right? Down here is called a weep screed. What happens is rainwater hits this and it can soak the water in, and behind that you've got a waterproof barrier, right, which sits on the wall. Now it hits the waterproof barrier, drains down, and through the weep screed at the bottom they've got these little holes and allows water to drop out. The water drops out right here by the footing. So then it's important to check the grading of the site. So if you check the specifically California building code, I don't think the IBC has a specific recommendation, but the CBC does, and that is a pitch that if you've got a 10-foot span here, you need to have about a 5% grade in order to carry the water off the lot. If you have a, yeah, that's right. So 10-foot span, 5% grade. If there's obstacles or something blocking it, this can be a 2% grade in order to carry water off the lot. Not really the greatest thing, but if you have it within 5 feet here, not 10 feet, but 5 feet, it absolutely has to be a 5% grade. So that's just to carry water off the lot once it hits the house, hits the floor, and then channels it off, right? using grade, preferably carrying it into a swale or underground drainage system or something like that. If you got a sump pump that runs an underground system, just pump it periodically, right? Run water through it, make sure that it's clear, make sure it's working properly. If you don't have a sump pump, try and find a way to make sure you clean your underground drainage systems or any subterranean pipes that might be blocked by anything. Tree roots are always a big problem with pipes, with irrigation, with everything else like that. So maintaining proper maintenance, once again, just twice a year, make sure you check everything out. Guys, you will save yourself tens of thousands of dollars by just practicing good drainage practices. So it's very highly recommended and encouraged. I hope you guys can check that out. I know this video is really short, thank God, finally a short one. Sorry for checking back and forth. I had some notes I had to look at. And in any case, thanks so much for your time. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can either drop a line below or message me directly. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you all later.